So yeah.
right. Okay, so here we go. We're doing it again. Hold on, wait for the notification. Boom, with the good background. Okay, here we go. And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning into a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's Podcast was doing in the community and in the nation. But Farrad, I can't see you.
Okay, I'm back.
Oh,
I'm back.
God.
I'm back. I'm back.
Okay, good. Okay, yes, sir. All right, brother Farrad. Okay, so our connection is good now.
Yes, sir. We good.
Okay, perfect. Praise be to Allah. Okay, excellent. Well, the first question we want to go is, brother Farrad, what was it like winning the drill competition, sir?
Oh Allah, man, brother. The man, the drill competition. So with the drill competition, of course, because we by the grace of Allah did the back to back 2019 and 2020. I got to go back to 2019. Um, 2019 for us in here in Chicago was an experience that personally I wouldn't trade for the world. We had a lot of bumps and bruises along that road. Um, to put it in so many words, we as a drill team hadn't drilled for about 6 years prior. Our last year drilling, I want to say, was 2013, and in 2019, everybody had heard. They said, "Man, Chicago drilling. They ain't drilled in about 6 years. What? They back?" And I said, "Oh snap! Everybody about to get to yapping. Everybody about to get to talking. So we gotta take it up a level. We gotta take it up a notch." And so taking it up a notch, things get hostile. And I can recall a few instances in which it did get heated in practices between, the brotherhood, but by the grace of Allah, that's what's needed. That heat
Yes, sir.
is used to turn, certain minerals into their most purest form and their
Yes, sir.
most
Yes,
beautiful.
sir.
And so that heat, by the grace of Allah, that we had on one another in practice, turned us into the diamond that the nation and the world saw on that beautiful day to win the 2019 drill competition. And so that really was the start of it all. And so while we was on our high horses, we was like, man, I remember that Savior's Day, as a matter of fact. We was talking, man, everybody needs to come back for next year's drill competition. We need Atlanta back. We need New York back. We need everybody back. Put all the belts on the line. And so I remember we was talking heavy about that. And so, by the grace of Allah, everybody came back the next year for 2020. New York, Big Alton, Atlanta, man, we was praying for Josh to come back. I said, man, we need Big Josh back. We need him back. And so, in preparation, because we knew what we were going up against, something, man, that's like Golden State going against this Lakers team or the Bulls, the what 73-9 or whatever Bulls, the 72-10, whatever. I don't
Yeah,
watch
yeah.
basketball, but that's a heavyweight move, and so we had to by the grace of Allah, we had to come at it from a different perspective. Yeah, we just won, but these some hitters, and they will dethrone us quick. So we grinded like we've never grinded before. I can't remember whether this was 2019 or 2020, but I even recall an instance in which we was having some team bond and moving desk from MUI outside, and all I hear is Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. I'm coming out. I'm thinking the brothers something going on. Next thing I know, everybody pointing up at the sky. It's one of the baby planes. And so brother Arvents can bear witness to it, but that was one of the pivotal turning points. Because at that moment, we knew we're not doing this for ourselves. We're not doing this for Maz number 2 here in Chicago. We're not doing this for the nation. We're doing this for Almighty God Allah. And that was evidence that he was present there that day and throughout the whole entire process. And so we kept Allah at the forefront throughout the last 2 years by the grace of Allah. And that turnout couldn't have been any better, except for the fact that I got sick the day before and almost couldn't drill. But you know, we say we seek assistance through patience and prayer.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
we truly had to be patient that day because I was throwing up the day before. I was supposed to go into detail for Mother Khadija. I couldn't even do it. I was throwing up the day before. The brothers, I told them, I said, yo, brother, I think I talked to Tariq. It was either Tariq or Jair. I said, man, brother, I'm not feeling too good. I'm in the room sick. He said, sick? What? Brother, we have a competition tomorrow. I said, brother, I don't know about all that right now for me. But by the grace of Allah, prayers and people helping out, bringing ginger ale and many other things, we still was able to push through. And even though I nearly threw up on the stage that Saturday, we still was able to push through without any mishaps. And yeah, that wrapped up 2020. And I'm looking forward to whenever the next year competition is, maybe a decade from now.
Praise be to Allah. Beautiful. Brother Jabbar from Chicago, of course, and one of our great sponsors, Brother Jabbar. Thank you, Brother Jabbar from the E-Team says, a growing giant. My sister Naima says, we back. That's right. ASA, we are back. Well, yes, sir. And me and Brother Farrad work diligently on the Wi-Fi situation, so we Allah's guys. We right back with it. My next question, sir, we got to go back to the picture from the flyer of you meeting the greeting the Louis Farrakhan, and what that meant to you, that picture that was in the salon.
Man, whew. Every time I reflect upon that picture, or reflect, not even the picture, but the moment, it was so spontaneous, and it was crazy how it happened. Because in my opinion, coming into that day, I didn't expect it. In reality, I never go into any event or anything looking to meet the minister directly afterwards. I just went up to the salam that day because I heard it was a detail and I wanted to help out. And so I got, put on post. And as the minister was wrapping up and about to come down the elevator, one of the brothers, man, one of the big bros from the E-Team, they told me, they said, hey, yo, Farrad, stand right here and make sure nobody, walks through this. We need to keep this clear for the minister. I said, yes, sir. And so next thing I know, sisters come through. And as a matter of fact, just as he said, keep it clear, the sisters was right there. And so I'm looking around, some of the big bros from the team was like, don't even worry about it. And so the minister came down from the elevator, exited out. I want to say it was about 5, maybe 6 sisters right there, standing in front of me. And as I stood in the corner behind them, the minister's so beautiful in how he deals with things. And his spirit, he deals with everybody as if that's his sole conversation. Like, not as if he's expecting to go greet the next person. He's dealing with you just one-on-one. Like, it's only you and him in the world. And so I watched him do it for those 5 or 6 sisters, and it was so beautiful. And it just put the biggest smile on my face. And actually, the picture somewhere out there, Brother Abdul Rasul posted it, and I saw me cheesing in the back, all wide. But at the end, once he greeted the last sister, he then looked over past the sisters at me. He basically called me forward, and then we talked for a few moments. And those few moments felt like 30 minutes. But those few moments, little did I know, would dictate really my life for the next 6 to 12 months in regards to how I'm inspired to move, inspired to do, inspired to think. Because every time that we have those type of interactions with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who is really the extension of God himself, we have to look at it, and any inspiration that comes from it is almost an inspiration from Allah himself. And so, as we're taught, or the minister says, he moves off of inspiration. Some of his greatest work came from inspiration. And so I thought about it, and so much that he instilled in me from that day and many other days, by the grace of Allah, is inspiring me to be the man that I'm yet to be. So I'm thankful for that, man.
Beautiful. Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. And what are some of your future goals that you have for yourself?
Well, I'll say it like this. In regards to future goals for myself, since joining the Nation of Islam, in particular, well, I won't say joining, since becoming a registered member of the Nation of Islam back in 2018, a lot of things mentally have changed for me. You know, I was so stuck, especially right before I got registered at that time on football. I'm going pro, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. However, once I got registered, I really started to see the level of sacrifice needed for the work that I never saw before. And especially reflecting upon my mother, who worked diligently for the Justice or Else movement. And so seeing the level of sacrifice that went into it, I took it upon myself to sit down and pray one day. And especially as I was at the time I was living with brother Elijah Farrakhan. I was with him for about a month, maybe a month and a half. And you know, he was teaching me, educating me, getting me right mentally. And man, he was just putting so much into me, and it made me to think, in order to get the mission done to the level that we desire or to the level that it needs to be, there's going to have to be those that's willing to sacrifice everything for this. And when we look into our history, we see that with the most honorable Elijah Muhammad sacrificed his life, his family. We see that with the honorable minister Louis Farrakhan. We see that with so many giants like brother Malcolm, brother Abdul Rahman, with so many others that sacrificed their life in the many days for this. And so I said, man, I can't go play football when I know what I know and waste time when there are people out here dying, when there are youth that's out here that need help. We got to do something. And in particularly as the so-called Joshua generation, we have to do something. And so, you know, I sat down with a few others. We said, man, we got to do something. And it all really, I won't say it started, but a catalyst for it was, I want to say last September or last October. A brother by the name of Brother Justice X had reached out to me a few days prior to an event that he was hosting. It was like a panel type event. It was myself, him, and another brother. Well, it was just him and the other brother. But he said, man, Brother Farrad, I want for you to come speak. I was like, brother, we got 2 days before the event. I'm not prepared. I can't go before the people like that. Off the whim. I ain't the chief. I ain't the minister. I can't do that. And so he said, man, bro, you got it. You got the spirit in you. So I sat down, thought about it. I said, all right, I'm going to do it. Just because you were asking me as a brother. Went to it. Nervous as all heck, man. I'm ill prepared. All I see is him with his notes, his speech. I'm like, brother, oh my God. Like he had everything typed out. I'm like, yeah, chief, nah. So the event started. Very few people were there. He opened up, and then he brought me up. And as I started to speak and, you know, the chill started to get off of me a little bit, I started noticing the door open a little bit more. You know, the door kept opening and closing. I'm like, hold on. There's some people starting to sit down in here. Let me really knock these chills off so I'm just not up here mumbling, grumbling, and stumbling them. So by the grace of Allah, the end result of that, fast forward, the entire room was packed out. Every seat was filled. And I can count on one hand how many individuals over the age of 30 there were. I say that to say the youth that day stayed about an hour and a half in those seats, listening to the words and the spirit that flowed from their little brothers. And that's a testimony of something, that what was said that day that came from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad touched them. They recognized it as the truth, and they were ready to move out on it. And so, because of that, I said, man, this was beautiful, bro. we got to replicate this all over the nation. And on top of the inspiration that I received from the minister from that day at the Salam, I said, yo, we got to put together a team. We got to do it. And so I talked to a few people, Sister Ayana from Louisville, Sister Naja from Indianapolis, Brother LaRue from San Francisco, Sister Miaya from Indianapolis, and we got together as the, core group, as you call it, and we got to work. We reached out to so many individuals, so many people, and we put together a list of 50 cities that we was going to do in back-to-back weeks.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
we
sir.
was going to travel for 50 weeks straight by the grace of Allah. And we put together, teams in each city that we would meet up with. We put together research teams to security teams to finance teams to manage the budgeting for everything by the grace of Allah. And we even it got so big, we had to take it to Minister Ishmael, Supreme Captain Mustafa, and Brother Secretary, Brother Saad Alim. Because it really was getting bigger than ourselves. And at that point, it was like, damn, we need some guidance because this ain't never been done before. Youth moving on this level, 50 cities back to back to back to back to back. Are you kidding me? Brother Saad, I need help. Please give us guidance. Minister Ishmael, Uncle Ish, we need help. And so we brought it to him. They said, Minister Ishmael in particular said, well, whatever you all need, I'm here to assist. And so when he told me that in particular, I was like, you're just giving us the go-ahead? Okay. And so at that moment, I knew. I said, this ain't no plaything. This is not a game. And so we got immediately to work. And then I believe we ended up putting together a full team of around almost 30 individuals as our core planning group, let alone the near 100 that we had for the 50 cities. And then, by the grace of Allah, he stopped us and halted us due to COVID. And it gave us time to reflect and sit down and say, this pestilence from Allah, as the minister calls it, and as it is, this is something that's meant to slow us down to turn our face back towards the God. And so after, we did, we just sat down and we had to, I won't say we waited, but we was patient, waiting for the next inspiration to move from Allah. And as we studied what headquarters or here at Mosque Mariam, we did or they did, they turned it from, people being in these seats to a virtual broadcast every week. And so we said we could do the same thing. We could do the same thing. And so by the grace of Allah, about a month ago, we did the first one. It was myself, Sister Nadira from North Carolina, Sister Nafisa, Sister Sabbath, Brother Shahid, and Brother Tariq Cardiac. It was beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. But however, it's not enough. We still have to go harder than we've ever went. And we still have to, take this to the next level because we've yet to justify our existence. Because Allah has given us a chance every single day to justify our existence. However, we've yet to done it to the level of satisfaction. So that's just one of my many driving goals in regards to the work. Because in all honesty, this work is my life. I don't see anything else outside of this work for my life at this point. It used to be football, going pro and playing football and getting, into all these other things. But now, the saving of our people, there's nothing greater than that because that's the greatest and only peace that it provides to me. In the midst of my father passing about 2, maybe 3 weeks ago, I called Brother Kadir. I told him, the first thing he said, brother, you all right? I said, man, I'm pushing, bro. I said, but I want to ask you a favor. His Allah is my witness. I said, I want to get every Division A brother and go out soldiering within these next few days so we can go ahead and, get some life-saving action in. He said, huh? And I said, yeah, bro. because the only thing that can combat death is life itself. And they're twins to one another. So, hey, in order to go ahead and stop the death or halt the death that is out, we have to work on producing life and life more abundantly, not just the life that we're stuck living in every single day.
Beautiful. Praise be to Allah. Well, speaking of your father, what may Allah be pleased, and my family, of course, myself, my family, and the viewing audience extend our condolences to you and your family. I saw that you spoke there. I saw that you wrote that you spoke. What was that like? And man, how did you pull that through?
Man, bro. Honestly, it's not but by the grace of Allah. Because the man that was and is the beginning of me coming into Islam, to see him lying in that state, it really did something to me. Because when I was much younger, one of the first books I've ever learned to read was The Supreme Wisdom because of my father. He would drill me so hard, start of the day, end of the night. Son, what's your supreme mathematics? Son, what's this? Son, what's that? And if I didn't get it, man, trust me, I would be getting it, meaning that belt. Man, bro. So from a young boy, and man, he always instilled it into me. And we're taught that, we would have a test to qualify ourselves from what is inside of that book. In that day that I did my father's janazah, I realized that my father knew or had a feeling or an instinct that he wouldn't make it to that test. However, everything he was instilling in me from day one was to make sure that I passed that test and that examination.
Praise be to Allah.
And so I'm forever thankful to him for that. But in preparation for his janazah, man, there was so many trials and tribulations from, striving to gather funds to assist in taking care of it, to even having to, do it myself. Because in all actuality, the day before, I lost all spirit and all confidence. Once I saw that room, I said, man, I don't know if I could do this. The morning of, I was holding off getting dressed because I didn't even want to go anymore. The spirit wasn't there. And so as I went, I saw one brother sitting there. And I thank Allah for this brother. And this was an hour before it started. One brother sitting there looking at my father. And first thing that came to my mind, I said, who the hell is this one person sitting here looking at my father, man? Who is this? I had to get my little, the supreme mindset. And so I walked up smoothly on him, crept up. Next thing I know, it's brother David Ali from Chicago.
My brother. Brother. Yes, sir.
Man, that put one of the biggest smiles on my face. And that was my first experience ever meeting my brother. But to know that he was there and to be the driving spirit of that day, he hugged me so tight. He said, man, brother, I love you. I said, man, I love you too. He said, no, I love you. And then I just hugged him tighter. He said, if you need anything, let me know. I said, yes, sir. And then we got to moving. And then people started coming in. I still didn't necessarily have these spirits to do it until I saw all the brothers walk in. Starting with brother Kadir, then brother Rashad, then brother Tano, and many other brothers. I saw them walk into the room and I said, Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar.
When two or more are gathered or present, surely Allah has with them.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I knew from that moment on, whatever the outcome, it got to get done. And the biggest thing for me was seeing my brother Jair walk into there. I saw him because I haven't talked to John in a second, but I saw him walk in and man, gave him the biggest of hugs. I said, man, bro, love you, man. Love you. He said, I love you too, man. And so at that moment, I said, let's do it. So
yeah.
So all the brothers, Brother Cadet, he said, man, what do you need from a soldier? I said, man, brother, whatever you are. He said, brother, where are the peppermints for the janazah? I gave it to Brother Rashad. He said, you need any of us to post up around the walls? I said, I don't know. And then next thing I know, as I'm walking up to the rostrum and Jair sat in the front row, I turn around, I see the brothers posted along the walls, brothers posted in the back, greeting people, walking them in. I said, you can't tell me this ain't the greatest brotherhood on earth, man.
Yeah.
And so from that moment, we continued on. I opened. I had my cousin to do the obituary, and then we did the little testimonial piece, and then Brother Yahya Jabril from Sean Michelle's Homemade Ice Cream came through.
Yes, sir.
Did some words. And then from then on, he brought me up to close it out and then do the janazah prayer. And I broke down. And I was trying my hardest to, keep it composed.
Yes, sir.
As I went up there, I tried to do our opening. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, in the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most merciful. I looked down, then I looked up, and for the first time, because I was on the roster, but I didn't look at the entirety of the room. But for the first time, I glanced around the room in its entirety, and every seat was filled. I probably should be saying this, but the capacity was 50 people. As Allah is my witness, it was nearly 100 people in that room today, and people that was turned away at the door because of how packed it was. And as I looked at that, man, I got quiet. Looked down, tears started rolling down my face. And in those moments, for some reason, your voice just get deep. And so my voice got deep, and man, I had to bear witness to my father, and everything he's done for me, because without him, I wouldn't be who I am today and who, inshallah, mashallah, I'm growing to be. And then at the end, saying the janazah prayer, and then right before we left the room, I was standing at my father's body. I didn't know who was behind me. I turned around, I saw all the brothers standing in a circle around me. I was speechless for about 45 seconds. I just looked at him, went around, looked at him, greeted every single one of them, gave him a big hug. I'm like, bro. I was literally speechless. And so from that moment, we just talked. And I said, as a matter of fact, man, Jay, come on, J9, Jair, we got to give my father that original salute. He said, you call it. I said, no, sir, you the DI, you call it. He said, come on, bro. I said, you call it. And then he went ahead and did it, and we saluted my father, and I ended it out saying Al-Fatiha with all the brothers around. And that was one of the greatest moments of my life, because it showed me the true demonstration of the brotherhood, regardless of whom or what, through thick and through thin. And so I'm forever thankful, not only to the brothers, but to every individual who was present, from the brothers on to my family, on to the close friends, on to the bros, the Qs, everybody that came through. So I thank Allah for them, man, and every individual who played a part in planning that.
Praise be to Allah. Okay, well, and thank you, all the brothers, for stepping up with you and doing that tough time. Brother Farrad, if you didn't choose to be fully go and not pursue your dreams of playing football, if you could choose what college football team you would want to play for, what team would that be?
Woo! Florida State. Florida State. Man.
Yeah.
Florida State was so in high school, I had a teacher by the name of Miss Liao. She went to Florida State for college, and every time we walked in her room, all we see is Seminoles apparel, our native family pictured around the room. Like, you would not go an inch in that room without seeing red and gold. And so I was like, man. It grew on me over time, and then especially when Jameis Winston was playing quarterback there. I saw the national championship. I said, let's go Seminoles. I said, man, I gotta play there. I gotta play there. And I told Leal, she said, well, you just gotta step it up on the field then. I said, all right, for sure. And I think one of the next games after, I got one of my biggest hits I've ever got in college. It was actually coming down on kickoff. Everybody lost it on the sideline. They kicked the ball off. Man, and you know, I had some wheels on me, you know. So I'm moving. And man, oh my God, I remember it like yesterday. Boom! Coach instantly, was that Farrad? Was that loud? And then I get up all hype, everybody going crazy. Oh, loud! Man, that was beautiful. But after that, Lee, I was like, okay, keep that up and keep up the grades. You'll be at Florida State. But yes, sir, man, Florida State for sure.
Yes, sir. And it's something I played running back, of course, for the Naperville North High School in Illinois. So, you know, shout out to the Huskies. But it's something about the football players, man, and drill, the same brotherhood. Like, it's just something about that, man, the camaraderie. So it's good to see you channel that football energy and bring it to the brotherhood of the drill team and, of course, to the FOI. I just want to thank you again for taking time out of your busy schedule and doing this with us. So you make sure you put it on YouTube and highlight the great work that you are doing, Brother Farrad. Anything, when you all do your next event or any event, let me know so that we can promote it on people's podcasts to keep the youth in the forefront of the nation and in the forefront of my audience is not just for in the house, but for outside the house as well. We want to show what Muhammad can produce and what the Most Honorable Louis Farrakhan and how he has saved us. So keep up the good work, sir.
Man, praise be to Allah, big bro. This work, this is a work that never stops and never sleeps. And it's not just in the house and in the nation either. You got beautiful individuals working night and day outside of the house. For example, our sister Tamika Mallory. Brother, when I tell you that's one of my driving inspirations of working night and day, because myself and a few other brothers went down to Louisville. We got the call to go down to Louisville to go and secure Sister Tamika Mallory when she was down there fighting for our sister Breonna Taylor. And in doing so, we got to see her, Brother Myson, the general, and so many other beautiful, spirited individuals closely work, not just in a public eye, but in their privacy of their home. And seeing how hard they work night in and night out, going to sleep at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., just after leaving an event, waking back up at 7 a.m. to plan and get ready for their next event, which starts at 9 a.m. That drove me, and it drives me today. And I'm forever thankful for that. And especially knowing that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan does the same thing, but just on a much higher scale. Because it's like, hey, if Tamika and them are doing that, the minister's doing it, what gives us the reason, or why do we think that we shouldn't be working just as hard or striving to? And so by the grace of Allah, that is what I'm striving to achieve or reach for, working that hard on to the level of being a savior unto our people. And I want to provide that example to not only the youth, but the rest of the entire nation. Not the nation of Islam, but the nation as a whole.
Well, thank you for that. And on that positive note, we want to thank everybody for watching the People's Podcast today. And thank you, Brother Farrad. Please like, share, subscribe as we put this on YouTube. I'm proud of you, but especially, may Allah continue to bless you and your family and the work that you all do.
Man, thank you so much, big bro. I'm proud of you and all that you're doing, especially on this platform, bro. May Allah continue to bless you and your family and the entire, pretty much southern region, because y'all been holding it down. Y'all been holding it down, big bro.
Yes, sir. Well, love you, Bro Farrad, and thank you all for watching. Assalamu alaikum.
Love you too, bro. Alaikum salam.